Now at 6 o'clock, people across the region, especially along the Oregon coast and in places where riverbanks have overflowed, are dealing with the aftermaths of yesterday's heavy rain. Take a look at this. Thomas Schultz live for us this morning in West Linn. He's going to cover that tree that fell along Willamette Falls Drive in just a minute.
And along with downed trees yesterday, we saw flooding across our area, including in southwest Washington, where people at a local RV park were rushing to get their trailers out of harm's way.
And we may not see as much rain today, but it is still a KGW weather impact alert day, a wind advisory that could cause some more downed trees and power outages in the area. Chris McGinnis with the full forecast as we kick off the 6 o'clock hour of sunrise right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us here. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We mentioned Chris McGinnis. Corey Johnson also on board taking care of traffic for us. But Chris, we will start with you here on another weather impact alert day.
Yeah, so 3+ inches of rain cumulatively at the airport. The rain part of this atmospheric river is pretty well done with. I mean, we'll see some light rain here and there, but the bigger impact today, I think, is the wind advisory that's up across southwest Washington and northwest Oregon through 10 o'clock this evening. Let me show you what Futurecast shows us. We've seen winds gusting to nearly 30 miles an hour already this morning, and Futurecast keeps 20 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts out of the south throughout the day and all the way into the late afternoon and evening. Ordinarily, this type of wind wouldn't be anything to write home about, but given the fact that it is occurring when a lot of the region has seen 3 to 5 or 6 inches of rain, we've got saturated soils, which means there is an elevated risk that we could bring down some spotty areas of downed trees, which means down power lines, road closures, etc. We're not expecting that to be a huge deal, but it is something we are watching for today. The top of the, in fact, let me see if I can go back real quick. The tippy top of the Umpqua Bank building shows that south wind really starting to gust across the region. Southwest winds again sustained 15 to 20 with gusts to 30 is the forecast today. Rainfall, very, very light today. Occasional showers, but otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, and mild with highs in the lower 60s. Corey?
Well, we are tracking a few accidents this morning, one of them in northeast Portland. We are keeping an eye on this one in the Piedmont community. It's near 15th Avenue and Alberta Street. Fairly new for us. It just popped up. This is a live look at I-5 at Jansen Beach. Starting to pick up in the way of traffic at this hour as more people wake up. Out in Vancouver, also another incident that we are keeping an eye out on. It's moving a little slow to tell us exactly where it is. It looks like it is at 54th Avenue and St. John's Road. Again, that's a newer crash. Not creating too much in the way of delays for us at this time. Taking a look at your drive times, moving along pretty nicely across the board. Headed from Brookwood Parkway to the 405, we'll sit you at about 12 minutes. Drew?
All right, thank you, Corey. Let's take a live look now at the power outage maps for the region. PGE is reporting around 800 customers without power this morning, and Pacific Power says just under 200 of its customers are without power. One of the impacts of this week's heavy rain can be found in West Linn. Take a look at this. A huge tree fell over yesterday morning there, knocking out power for hundreds of people in that area.
The Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live along Willamette Falls Drive in West Linn. So Thomas, what's the latest on that tree and the damage out there?
Yeah, guys, fortunately the tree has now been cleared from the road, but it's off to the side of the road, and the sheer size of this thing is pretty astounding. This is just a part of it. We're going to have our photographer Chad Dehart walk down here to show you. This is about 40 feet of this tree. Bear in mind, they cut it across the road, so there's still a lot of tree on the other side of the road that we can't even see that well this early in this morning. And wind is going to be a concern today all across town. This tree left 300 people without power yesterday after it came down. Signals first went out around 6:15 yesterday morning, leaving some offices, coffee shops, and families in the dark as people all across Oregon and southwest Washington were left waiting for these heavy rains to subside. We spoke to one business here in West Linn called the Family Foot Clinic, who were one of the few businesses that were able to serve customers once their power returned Tuesday morning.
Well, I guess we're the only ones with the lights on for some reason, and there's a whole street full of people that could be open.
It's not clear yet when this tree will fully be removed, though, of course, once again, it is not across the roadway anymore. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, as Chris has been mentioning all day long, wind could be a problem, but I want to show you back out live here just how big this thing is. You can see we showed you the length of what's cut down across the side. I'm standing on this tree now. probably, I don't know, 6 feet off the ground, 7 feet off the ground. This is just the trunk. So a really, really big tree that came down yesterday morning. We could see more problems throughout the day with soggy ground and some wind in the forecast as well. Guys?
So you're telling me, Thomas, you're not taking that tree home to use as your Christmas tree this year?
You know, Drew, I mean, look, we've been talking about it. This could be a great carved tree, but no, a little bit too big for me this year.
All right, Thomas Schultz live for us this morning with that scene in West Linn. Now take a look at these photos from Tillamook, the Oregon coast, specifically Tillamook, one of the hardest hit areas in the region in terms of heavy rain and flooding this week. We saw several streets there covered in feet of water yesterday. This morning, Highway 6 is still closed at the intersection of Highway 101. This is some of the craziest video that we got yesterday. ODOT sharing this. Someone riding their bike through the water on 101. I honestly don't know how they're pedaling because those wheels are completely covered by the water there. Farmland around Tillamook also flooded. This is a look where the Trask River overflowed into fields. That river reached 16.5 feet on Tuesday, which is considered minor flood stage. First responders along the coast also told us that some people were still trying to drive through the floodwaters yesterday. We're not talking about bikes here, we're talking about cars. And they say this is a situation that's not only dangerous for the driver, but it can also create additional hazards for anyone who's trying to get around.
The underpass where the railroad trestle is, a person drove into that and they actually floated all the way through and made it to the other side, but they abandoned their car that was full of water and just walked away.
One more stop on the coast here, Lincoln City. There was a landslide near Lincoln City yesterday. It took a while to clean this one up too because additional debris, they said, kept falling onto the road.
Let's head to Southwest Washington, where we saw flooding in several spots. The Klamath River started spilling its banks yesterday. People at the Klamath RV Park were racing to get their trailers out.
Decided I better take a drive through the neighborhood, and I saw it looked like a river running through here, so I hooked everything up, hooked up my trailer to my truck and got it up on the main road out here, and was able to move it to another park.
So we also saw water over the roads in Castle Rock and in the Longview-Kelso area. Public Works officials expect flooding to continue over the next few days as rain that fell to the north flows through the area. Longview also opened a severe weather shelter overnight that can accommodate up to 60 people. And just a little farther north in Lewis County, Washington, the Newaukum River overflowed its banks there. At least 5 cars got stuck on a road that runs under I-5 in Napavine. Fortunately, everyone made it out safely. Local officials are warning people to not try to cross those floodwaters.
You don't know how deep it is, you don't know how swift it is, and this is what happens. You get stuck there, and then it's a situation that you can't control.
Firefighters also had to use boats and a retired military vehicle to rescue 7 people and several pets from a neighborhood nearby.
A couple of school districts are starting classes 2 hours late today. The Winlock School District up in Lewis County and the Castle Rock School District over in Cowlitz County. You can find updates, by the way, for school closures and delays at kgw.com/closings.
All right, your time now is 6:08. Headed over to Chris McGinnis. Rain was a story yesterday. Today, it's mostly the flooding and the wind.
Yeah, the recovery, right? So our KGW weather impact alert continues today for the wind advisory. Wind advisory across southwest Washington, northwest Oregon through 10 o'clock today. Ordinarily, wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles an hour would not be that big of a deal. But given the fact that we've just had anywhere from 3.5 to 5.5 or 6 inches of rain in the valley over the last 2 days, more than that in the higher terrain, these winds are capable of bringing down any compromised trees in those really, really loose soils. There you can see the flag atop the Umpqua Bank building snapping in that south breeze. Again, not an overly gusty breeze, 30 miles an hour, but just enough that weakened trees could come down in those soils. It is very warm out there, 59 degrees. The record high for today, by the way, is 65. So not quite record territory, but well above average. 47 is the normal high for this time of the year. Temperatures will be generally hovering right around 60 degrees, I think, for much of the day today. So 61 today, breezy for sure, hence the KGW weather impact alert for the possibility of 1 or 2 more downed trees, power outages, whatever associated road closures may come out of that. But the rainfall itself will be very, very light. So that is really good news for the flooding situation across the region as area rivers will get a chance to recede. Showers tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow's rainfall maybe more so than today. Not much. I mean, maybe 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. Dry day Friday. I think we're completely dry Friday and Saturday, and then the next system comes in Sunday, and Monday could be a soaker next week. Not quite like what we had, but we'll keep our eyes on it. Guys, back to you.